Hello, I am Steve, and we are continuing to answer the question, what is God? Last time we discussed the first 2 points in this 7-point answer to this question. Those were God is the first cause of all things and God is eternal. Today we will discuss the next 3 points, to which there's a slight change of order. Today we'll discuss God is a life-giving spirit, God is a mind, and God is free. These 3 points together will help us to refute characterizations of God as like an old man in the sky, or as skeptics would often compare our God to. He had Bertrand Russell's example of a floating teapot behind the sun, or a more modern version of that would be the flying spaghetti monster. So these 3 points together will help us to refute those ideas. So the first of these points is God is a life-giving spirit. In John chapter 4, Jesus tells us God is spirit. As Christians, we believe that ultimate reality is not physical but spiritual in nature. God created the natural universe out of nothing. Therefore, the material world is created by an immaterial spirit. This tells us that life itself is spiritual in nature. Now, in high school science classes, we all learned the law of biogenesis. This tells us that all life comes from life before it. In other words, we all have parents. So now this creates a chain of life-giving life that either extends backwards infinitely, which is logically impossible, or there is a first life from which all life has sprung. For us Christians, we find our answer in our eternal God. Now, we as human beings are also spiritual in nature. Our core identity is not our bodies, but our souls, and our souls are capable of existing apart from our bodies. This is because life itself is spiritual, and it springs from a spiritual life giver. We call him God. Point number 4, God is a mind. He is not merely a living organism, but is a rational being and the source of all intelligence. Just as life can exist apart from the body, so too can a mind exist apart from a brain. Now, God is not a brain, but he is a mind, which is immaterial. He is intelligent and has intelligently designed the universe in such a way that it reflects the intelligence of its designer. Now, science itself is rooted in the belief that we can find order in the universe. Now, belief in God makes sense of why the universe makes sense and why we can make sense of it. Now, our own ability to think and to rationalize must have a cause, and that cause is an intelligent God. Now, God as a mind is able to think and to rationalize, and along with that, to make free choices. That leads us to point number 5. God is free. God is not made to do anything, but does as he pleases. He created the world and each of us by his own free choice. There is nothing outside of God that forces him to act. Now, there is much I can say about God's freedom and its implications for us, but for now I will simply make the bold claim that if any free will exists, it can only come from a God who is himself free. I will have much more to say about this in the future, but for now we'll leave it at that. With these 3 points, we're developing a more complete picture of the Christian God. One who is not only creator, but is evident in creation. We can discard any ideas of an impersonal force or a distant God who lives in some corner of the universe, who might be seen or touched if we could only find him. No, we can know who God is, as the Apostle Paul tells us in Acts 17. God, who made the world and everything in it, since he is Lord of heaven and earth, does not dwell in temples made with hands, nor is he worshipped with men's hands, as though he needed anything, since he gives to all life, breath, and all things. And he has made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, and has determined their pre-appointed times and the boundaries of their dwellings, so that they should seek the Lord in the hope that they might grope for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as also some of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. Therefore, since we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the divine nature is like gold or silver or stone, something shaped by art and man's devising. Next time we will continue answering the question, what is God, with the final 2 points. God is maximally great, and God is one being in 3 persons. See you next time.